Thank you for tuning into or watching the Choice, Change and Action podcast. My name is Simone Milasas and I am your host. Your choice creates your future. Every choice you make, action you take, you create a change for you and the world. Please enjoy this podcast. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take me too seriously. Don't trust me. Trust you. You are the one that knows what will work for you. And have way too much fun enjoying your choices. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. Here is your little quick overview. I did a solo podcast today. I got pretty inspired when I went hiking today, and I wanted to invite you guys to choose your life and choose you, So I go through a bunch of tools that you can look at in here, and just asking if you would like to take a moment to look at your life and see if there's anything that you would like to change, anything you would like to choose. For me, it's like, man, how much fun can we have? I remember when Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, said to me years ago, we were talking about the purpose of life, and he said to me, well, what if the purpose of life is to have fun? I was like, are you serious? Do you know how many times I've sat down and tried to work out why I'm here? What if the purpose of life was to have fun? Now, you might look at that and go, oh, that's flippant. What if it wasn't flippant? What if you actually indulged in that? What if you were having fun and joy? Joy for me is probably a better word to use. Joy in every area of your life, with your body, with money, business, relationships, with everything. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Choice, Change and Action has its own Instagram. You can, of course, follow me as well. Subscribe, because then you'll get all the notes and all the different things that I talk about. And also, I'd love to invite you to follow us on YouTube as well, because you can actually watch the podcast there, and they are translated into quite a few different languages. And we've got lots of stuff going on. Oh, Telegram thread. If you join the Telegram thread, my Telegram thread, I did a little sheet and everything like that you can use some tools of what I'm talking about in this podcast, that you can start to look at your life today and what it is that you would like to choose and change. So enjoy, everybody. Thank you. I will see you later. Bye-bye. So welcome. Today I wanted to talk about choosing your life. And I say choosing your life because every choice you make actually creates your future. It creates your today. It creates your now. A lot of the times you hear people say, oh, what do I want to create? Or creating, I would like to create this, or what would you like to create as your life? Look at the languaging, easy for me to say, as well, because you create by your choices, right? So as you choose, you create today, you create this moment. And I'll give you an example. We've just had Gary Douglas and Dane here, and a bunch of my, amazing friends and wonderful people I get to work with in Australia, because we had lots of Access Consciousness classes in Australia in the month of February. And it was great. I had such a good time. Oh my God, it was just so much fun facilitating and having Gary and Dane here. And we co-own a house on the river in Noosa, and having them there and just being so, I don't know, engaged in being here in summer in Australia. It was really beautiful. It was amazing. And it was just very, very grateful. And they left last Monday. And I noticed that about 4 days later, because I had a few things to catch up on, etc. And about 4 days later, I woke up in the morning and I went, I don't know the way people say that. I woke up in the morning. Well, maybe you could wake up at night. That's true. Anyway, I woke up in the morning and I was like in my kitchen making a coffee and, starting my day. And my day didn't have a great deal on. Like, it wasn't like I didn't have a podcast. I didn't have media. I didn't have a class. I didn't have appointments. I had some stuff, but it wasn't this like rush or, this necessity to be somewhere. And I started to literally, I always found myself like freaking out. And I went, God, I'm home for 2 months. And I, was in my kitchen washing the dishes going, you know what, maybe I could go to Adelaide. Maybe I could go to Melbourne. Maybe I could go to Perth, somewhere close. Maybe I could go there for the weekend. Maybe I could do a class there. Maybe I could do this. And I started going into all these things that I could choose that would fill the space. I was even like, I wish I lived with someone. I wish I had like a live-in boyfriend or something like this, and I went, Simone, what are you doing? And I just stopped and I had a coffee and I went outside into my beautiful veranda, which is surrounded by these amazing trees, and you have so many, birds there, etc. It's just wonderful. You can hear the ocean. And I'm sitting on my daybed outside and I was like, okay, Simone, relax. And I was like, what is this? Which is a great question to ask. I was like, what is this? And I realized I had so much space in my world. I was trying to fill it. And if you know me, if you've been listening to my podcast, if you've been to any of my classes, you'll know that one of the things I've been exploring is relaxation for a lot of years. And I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I have been exploring not being right, because most of the time people would rather be right than be free. So there's right, controlling, force, etc., and really trying to do that thing of control things into existence rather than allow everything into existence and to explore relaxation. And I know when somebody says to you, relax, you sort of like, what the fuck? You want to either throat punch them or slap them or something like that, or explain to them and justify why you cannot relax. How many of you do that? How many of you try and explain or justify why you can't relax? Well, it's actually a choice. Oh, yeah, choosing your life by choosing to relax. So I'm really proud of myself and grateful that I had this moment of being really weirded out and, almost not anxious, but just I noticed when I went, okay, Simone, go sit outside. And I was trying to fill the space. So, how many of you try and fill the space with a conclusion or something to do? And then you start complaining about how busy you are, or this to do, right? So I went, okay, just breathe. And I went, all right, this 30 minutes, what are you going to do? I know we can choose in 10-second increments, but I was like, in 30 minutes, I was like, okay, what am I choosing now? I'm going to turn my phone off. Um, and I started just doing different things and creating different things. And then I also indulged in, I went, okay, Simone, so you say, if you had a relationship and you were living with someone, and immediately I went, oh, I don't desire to live with anyone. Not now, not in this moment in my life. I don't desire to live with anyone. And then I went, okay, so what if you met up with a friend and you went and had lunch and you went and, something. And I went, "Ah, I don't even choose to do that. Like, I don't really choose to do that. So I was like, and I don't really choose to go, go and pack a bag and get on a plane and go somewhere. So what if I relaxed in this moment of space? Then what else could show up? So what if you relax into the moments of space that you have available and explore what can show up from relaxation, not trying to force something into existence or dismiss the space. Don't dismiss the space. Okay. So I'm in my car and I was driving somewhere and I was going, well, what is this? What would I like to choose? Like, what would be nurturing? What would be joyful for me? And as I was driving, there's lots of, the bushland on either side. And I went, oh, maybe I'll go for a hike. And I went, oh, I could go for a hike with a friend, or I could just go hiking on my own. So I did. I chose that in the afternoon. I kept looking at my phone. It's 29 degrees Celsius. It's friggin' hot. If you're in Fahrenheit, it's friggin' hot. 29 degrees Celsius. And I was like, just go. I like, walking, hiking, running in the heat. 29 and humid is about as high as I'll go. And so anyway, it was 29. It wasn't going to cool down for a little while. So I went for this beautiful hike on my own. And I was even like running up this, little mountain. And it was just so, so joyful and so nurturing. My face was like bright red. And it was wonderful. And I got an ice bath, by the way. I love it. Oh my goodness. Came home and I ended up having an ice bath, which was just absolutely incredible. So it's so invigorating. I'm just tell you, and I think it's a funny story. You know, this ice bath that I got, it's wonderful. It's called a Yuri, and it's from Found Space in Australia. I think Found Space is in a few different places around the world, but it's amazing. And I was getting in for the first time ever. I'm like 15 seconds in, and I was thinking, shit, I can't do this. I can't do this. I've got to get out. And literally in my head, I went, Simone, you just paid a bunch of money to get this. Sit the fuck down, like in the ice bath. So I did. And it was amazing. It's like the first minute is probably the hardest. And then I did 3 minutes. I've been doing 3 minutes every day. I did it twice yesterday. I've done it once today. And wow, the molecules in my body just vibrating and alive. And there's like this cleanliness that I seem to have. So anyway, and I get ice baths are not for everybody. I get that. Hey, here's the thing that I want to talk about today is what I choose is not what you should be choosing. You need to choose for you. So I'm pretty sure that I've mentioned this in one of my previous podcasts, but I'm going to give a little brief description anyway, is in 2020, when we got sent home. I was in Budapest, Hungary, which I'm going back to again soon for a Business Done Different class, by the way, in May. So if you're in Europe or you want to jump online, there'll be a Business Done Different class. I'm very happy about that in Budapest. So I haven't been there since 2020. And when I came back home, we did classes online. It was like, that sort of energy. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't getting on planes. I wasn't traveling. I wasn't, I was going to my fridge to get a sparkling water. I wasn't, in my hotel room or ordering. It was just such a different lifestyle really quickly. And I was on my couch again, and I was like, is this working for me? Do I actually like the life I'm choosing? So my question to you is, do you actually like the life you're choosing? And, anyone that would look at my life would go, wow, it's great. Everyone's like, wow, you get to travel to all these places, da da da, this whole thing, da da. And I love traveling, absolutely love traveling. And all of a sudden, travel was taken away from me. And now I was at home. Okay, so how was I going to deal with this? How was I going to handle this? What is this energy that is showing up in my world? So instead of sort of going into this frantic place or this judgment or doubt, etc., I went, okay, let's have a moment and work this out. Like not work it out, but just be in question is probably a much better way to say that. And what I was choosing. And so I wrote down all of these different topics. And because I decided to start looking at my life and going, okay, is this working? So I wrote down business, right, is one topic. And then money was another topic. Relationships was another topic. Money was another topic. Business, money, relationships, sex. That's funny. I went to put sex and money in there. Woo! So business, money, relationships, sex, body, my body. What would I like with that? Geographical. They were the topics that I chose at that time in my life because I was looking at, so geographical, do I even want to live in Australia or would I like to be somewhere where else? But I wasn't asking questions. And I think we tend to do this either or thing. It's like live in Australia, don't live in Australia, blah, blah, blah. Rather than going, well, what would I like to create? So for example, I'll give you two examples from this. Is one with the business. I was facilitating in all these amazing places all over the world and these amazing people all over the world. And it is really thrilling for me to facilitate a class. When you see people's whole entire, they get that spark in their world where they're just like, oh, they can choose something different. They can change something. They get to be more of them. That is such a thrill. I absolutely love it. So, well, I can say that now. At that moment, I wasn't sure. And I wasn't sure that I desired to go facilitating. Gary and Dane asked me to facilitate, one of the advanced classes, Choice for Possibilities. So I did. I went around the world facilitating. Business Done Different, I've done for quite some time, which is based on Joy Business, the book I wrote. Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, I facilitated that for quite some time based on the second book that I wrote, all using access consciousness tools. There's lots of different classes I facilitated, but all of a sudden, facilitating advanced body class, like all these things, I went, I don't think I've ever asked myself if I would like to choose this. I was chosen, I was asked, and I just said yes. So the tool that I used was I indulged. And I indulged in not facilitating. And I didn't tell anyone on my own. I just indulged in this. For about 3 days, I indulged in not facilitating, going, okay, what would my life be like in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time? What would my life be like next week if I wasn't facilitating access consciousness? Now, I was still very much interested in access and the business side of it. I mean, I was worldwide coordinator for 18 years and I loved the business side of it too. So it wasn't like I was going to not be a part of access, but what was going to be my role in access? What would I like to choose? And I think in the workplace, a lot of people don't think that they can choose. What if you explored what that was like to actually speak to the people that you work with and said, hey, you know what? I'd like to change something up. I'd like to choose this, or I'd like to choose that, or I'd like to change this. I'd like to not be involved in this piece over here anymore. Because as you choose for you, do you get the whole entire world just expands? As you choose for you, everything expands. Okay. I know when you choose for you, for me, it's like I get this sense in my body, like my body just feels happy. It feels lighter. You sort of go, oh, like if you have that breath and you're like, yeah, your body's like, thank you for choosing for us, you and your body. So I indulged in not facilitating. And then for 3 days, great tool. The next 3 days, you're supposed to indulge in choosing it and choosing to facilitate. It took me like an hour and I realized, okay, it's a no brainer. I would like to facilitate. So I was like, okay, I'm in. But here's the energy that shows up with that is I was now choosing it. I was choosing it. And I rang Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, and I said, hey, this is what I've just, I put myself through these questions of asking. And he said to me, I'm really glad you did that. And I said, why is that? And he said, because if you didn't do that, he said, and you weren't choosing to facilitate for you, he said, you would have ended up destroying it. You would have ended up, destroying the classes, destroying my relationship with Access, with Gary, with Dane, etc. But as you are choosing for you, I'm going to say it again, you change everything around you and you invite everything and everyone else to choose for them too. So it's a really different energy. And, if you look at relationships, so many people are in a relationship based on they were chosen. You can still be chosen, but are you choosing as well? That's my question to you. Are you choosing as well? So that was one of the examples I looked at with business and, exploring that. Then I looked at money as well. And, for me, it was things like, what am I investing in? I was finally, I wasn't in debt anymore. I had money and I was making investments. What am I investing in? What future would I like to create? Because I can tell you every single dollar that you spend, every single dollar that you invest, you are investing in what shows up in the world. And so for me, I looked at that and went, oh, so El Lugar, which is a property that we have in Costa Rica, I started investing more in El Lugar because it matched the energy of what I would like to see in the world, what I'd like to be involved in the world. I still have other investments, but I started asking myself those questions. So then relationships, I looked at that as well. Sex, I looked at that. My body, I looked at this as well. And I find the body thing, oh, wow, always so interesting is, for so many years, I judged the size and the shape of my body and like really. And when I finally went, Simone, you need to stop doing this. You can't keep judging the size and shape of your body. You chose your body. You chose your body for a reason. What did you choose it for? And not trying to force anything, And when I finally went, okay, making this commitment to myself, which choosing your life is committing to you, making this commitment to me to go, okay, if I stop judging, like what would it look like if I stopped judging the shape and size of my body? I started judging my aging and I went, this is insane. You can't just drop one judgment and start choosing something different. What if you stop judging everything? And as soon as I really made the effort, I'm not saying I'm 100% there because I'm not. I actually don't think I know anybody who's 100% out of judgment of their bodies, but I'm a huge difference. And as soon as I stopped that, my shape and size started to change. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So it's like any of the judgments you hold in place, maintain that limitation. They maintain it. Like, so if you always wake up in the morning and have a judgment that, your ass is too big, you're not actually going to create a smaller ass, or you wake up in the morning and you judge you have no money And if you sit in that no money judgment, that's what you're going to create. Okay. So what if you came out of judgment and it was about choosing your life? It was about being in question and choosing your life and not having those judgments. I'm not saying this is going to be the easiest thing in the world to choose. And yet, if you just start and start right now, you can create a different living for you and your body. So then I looked at, well, what is it that I would like to ask with my body? And the two things came up for me was flexibility and strength. And, it came from one day I was getting off a chair and I went, oh, I made what I call old people's noise. And I was like, God damn it, I'm not going to make old people's noise. I'd like to be able to get off a chair and not make a noise because I'm like, oh, trying to get up. So I started asking for more flexibility and strength. And it's something that I'm working on all the time. And I have had so much awareness of my body, and my body just changes all the time. And I freaking love having this body. I really do. I chose this body and I love it. And we've been through so much together. If I look at the things that I did with my body when I was younger, in my 20s especially, oh my God, did I abuse it with, drugs and everything. Ugh. So, but I'm not judging it. I'm here and I'm just so amazed that my body is here and, and is so phenomenal. But looking at that and keep asking what it is that I would like to create with my body. What is it I'd like to choose with my body? And then geographical, like where do I want to live? So I did this. And it was really interesting to see all the different aspects of that came up for me in all these. And I wrote it for myself, not for anyone else to read, not for anyone else to look at. Yes, I have spoken about this, in a few different classes or now I'm talking about it. But it wasn't for me to tell the world. It was just for me. And that's what I'm inviting you to do is choose your life for you, right? So that you can truly live. Like you should be enjoying living. Are you enjoying living? And so I did this. And then the other day, like I said to you, when I was all weirded out and I was like, I'm going to do this again because that was in 2020. I'm going to do this in 2024. I'm going to do this now. So if I know a lot of the listeners I have are on my Telegram thread. If you're not on my Telegram thread, I invite you to go to my Telegram thread. We'll put the link in the show notes. And it's called Engage with Simone. And it's very random. It's, we put things in there. Maybe I'll get inspired one day, but I don't promise anything. But if you want to hang out in there, you can hang out in there. But one of the things I did do was make a video today when I was hiking, talking about this. And I did an Excel spreadsheet that I made, so that you could copy it if you chose and start doing this for you. So if you want to go to the Telegram thread, it's all in there. You can make it yours. You could do a little book if you want. You could do notes on your phone. You could do whatever. I do find in some aspect writing it out, whether it's handwriting it, typing it or something like that, it sort of makes it more, it lands in your world. Okay, this is what I'm asking for. So say with your body, you went, I'm asking for more flexibility. Okay, that. So the columns I put in this one is business, wealth and money, relationships, sex, my body, geographical. And then I put one and added more. And the more was things like, I've been learning Italian lately. And instead of judging myself for when I'm not studying Italian, sometimes I get very busy, or the new word for busy is popular. And I'm not, studying Italian every day, etc. But instead of judging myself, what I've been saying is, well, I know more Italian today than I did yesterday. But that's some of my more. I would like more of that. Okay. Oh, that's the other one I wanted to add was earth. I'm going to add that now because the earth is like, what do I want to create with the earth? What would I like to receive from the earth? What do I like to explore with the earth? So one of the things that, and it all sort of like, combines, like you could have one that's called travel. You could have one that's family, like make it yours. One of the things I've always wanted to see is the Northern Lights. Okay. So what would it be like to see the Northern Lights? I've been to the Australian desert twice now. Oh my goodness, I love it. Going to see Uluru. And if you don't know what Uluru is, it's called Ayers Rock to, I think, tourists, and it's big, massive, like 650 million years old on one side of it, 550 million years old on the other. It's just like, wow, it's incredible being out there in the desert. I've been to the Sahara Desert. I love deserts. I think they're just something so magical about them. So maybe I get to be something different with the earth. What is that? What is it? So I would like to explore that for me. So I'm going to fill this out for me over the next few weeks. And what I do is I just go, okay, what is it? And I may get this hit, I'm in the shower or about to go to sleep or just wake up or I'm walking, hiking, I'm cooking or I'm in a class or anything. You're living your life and I'll get this hit and be like, oh, that. Okay, write it down. So that you have this, it's sort of like this demand of yourself and request of the universe to have something greater, be something greater. And I'm going to write on my more too, the relaxation, because I would really like to explore relaxation more. And that's another thing I'd love to invite you to as well. I have 5 days of an energy pool of relaxation. So the idea is to explore relaxation in a different way with energy pools. And if you haven't done an energy pool, I have 2 free ones. One is on money and one is on business. They're on my YouTube channel. We'll put the link in there as well. So just even play with that. This one it's $50. It's $50 and it's 5 days in a row. It'll be 10 to 20 minutes, of playing with the energy of relaxation. And what I would like to play with is that relaxation with, money, with your body, with the world, with the earth, with your business, with relationships, everything, whatever comes up. And I'd like to know what you guys would like out of it too. So that starts, I'm going to tell you when that starts. I'm going to tell you when that starts. And that starts on my 11th of March. So it's the 10th in the US. Yeah. So what would you like to ask for? Like, what would you like to choose as your life? And one of the things I was looking at today when I was hiking is how often do you not choose something because you say you're too busy? I'm going to do that next year. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. I don't have time for that. If you have a line like that you use continuously, you're the only person that's stopping you. Like, what if you just stopped and went, you know what? I actually require to relax with this. And what would it take for me to choose this, create the space so that I can have this in my life? Like, what are you saying you're going to do later that if you chose it now would create your life to be greater today? I mean, I'm in my early 50s and I've had a friggin' amazing life and there is so much more that's possible. And I am so looking forward to so much more that is possible. I am so much more present in my life now and with my body. And, I think sometimes I am even healthier in my body and capable of so much more to some extent and happier with my choices, and even when you choose something and you go, "Arr," and you're like, you can have a little giggle at yourself because you're like, well, that was an interesting choice. Whereas years ago, I would have judged myself harshly for days or weeks, on end. Whereas, what would you like to choose? Like, where are you at in your life now? And what would you like to choose? And what if you just took a moment right now? Take a moment and look at your life. Is there something different that you would like to have? Is there something different you would like to choose? It could be in one area, it could be in all areas. Do you know the only person who can choose that is you? What if today was the day? What if today was the moment? Don't put it off till tomorrow. And it doesn't have to be hard. Like, you do have to have a bit of courage. Like, honestly, it's taken courage for me to choose relaxation. And I can perceive the energy. There was something that occurred yesterday, and I noticed my reaction went to literally like this reaction of this like frustration and this force energy. And then 5 minutes later, I went, God, there's not much joy in that. There's not much fun in that. And I went, oh, I've spent my whole entire life functioning from that force and that control and that reaction. And as soon as I went, you know what? This is not really even relevant. And I just let it go. And I did ask some questions to some people. I said, hey, is there a way that you guys could work this out, or we could do this different and blah, blah, blah. And I started to ask some questions, but from a calmness and not an expectation, and from this place of relaxation. So it has taken, I'm saying courageous for me to choose relaxation, because I knew my life as force. I knew my life as control. I knew that. And what are you so comfortable with your life that you think it's you? Well, what if it's not? What if you are so much greater than that? Because you are. I'm telling you that you are. You just are. You're brilliant. I'm just going to say I love this, in this ice bath, in Found Space, there's a little app, and you can play that. Like, so you do 3 minutes of ice bath, and there's a guy talking, and he's really relaxing. I'm like, dude, he's like my best mate. He's like going, it's okay. Why don't you smile, tell your body it's okay, like, as you're going through it. And right at the end, he counts down, and he goes, take a dip. And at the end, he goes, you're amazing. And every time I've had this ice bath, I come out and I can hear him saying that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm amazing. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. And it's like, you are amazing. You are friggin' amazing. You are off the charts amazing. So start choosing it, and start choosing your life in the way that you could be. And what you are choosing is not wrong. And would you like to choose something greater? Would you like to choose something different? So if you want to, use these tools that I've given you. If you don't, it's up to you. Okay. As I say, you do you, I'll do me. Don't trust me, trust you. You are the one that gets to choose your life. I'd like to invite you to a different possibility. That is up to you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching, whatever you chose. We're on the YouTube channel as well. I always say the YouTube. We're on YouTube as well. So yeah, thank you. And I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and you'll get everything that I spoke about in the subscription notes. Okay? Mwah. Ciao. Adios. Bye-bye. Well, did you like this podcast? Love it? Hate it? Inspired by it? Can you do me a favor? Can you please write a comment, share it, like it? If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, could you tick a few stars for us? Leave a review. It's all such a contribution, and I am immensely grateful. Follow us on Instagram at Choice, Change and Action, and drop into our DMs and let us know what you would like next. When you subscribe to the show notes, you will receive a brief summary and any questions or tools we used, and links to anything we discussed during the show. It might make your life easier. What if we asked for that? A life of ease, joy, and glory.